Tidenes Tour de France presenteres i samarbeid med kaffe fra Solberg og Hansen, klokkene fra Prospex-serien og sportsbriller fra Northug. Velkommen skal du være til Tidenes Tour de France, vår alles favorittpodcast, sommeren 2020. Det moro. Det mye som folk som hører på. Sunniva, du her I dag.
Ja.
Jeg jo Hanso, som alltid her. Og nå begynner det å nærme seg slutten av dette sommerprosjektet. Vi går inn I siste uka.
Tenk det.
Og vi starter den siste uka med et brak, altså.
Ja.
For de av dere som hørte på siste episode, så vi jo nå midt I en ganske kul samtale med Tyler Hamilton, som for du som kjenner kanskje best som, du kjenner Lance Armstrong, han har jo hørt om, og Tyler Hamilton kanskje han som startet fallet til Lance Armstrong, og det begynner vi å komme litt inn på nå. Det vi kommer til nå liksom litt mindre Tour de France. Vi snakker jo egentlig om Tour de France fra 2000, men som du merker så både jeg og Jarle ikke så interessert I det. Vi vil snakke om noen juicy saker. Men vi snakker litt om touren I 2000, da, som var en veldig fin tour. Det var på første gangen Lance skulle bevise at han vant jo 99. Da var ikke Ulrich der, og ikke Pantani, som var liksom de store konkurrentene på den tiden. Så dette var året hvor US Postal og gjengen skulle bevise at de mente det var ikke en fluk da, at de vant I 99. Og som jeg innrømmer at når jeg hørte på forrige episode, jeg gjorde det, jeg burde ikke gjort det, jeg gjorde det, noen må gå, fordi altså, det så dårlig engelsk. Jeg tror det godt at ikke podcasten først og fremst på engelsk, men jeg håper det bra nok til at folk får med seg ting da.
Ja, det forståelig. Det det viktigste.
Det det viktigste, og at det jo Tyler vi skal høre på.
Sant.
Men la oss ikke bruke mer tid dem som så. Fortsett kjempegøy at folk med I sosiale medier. Vi maser jo om det. Følg oss der. Vi kommer til å kjøre, vi skal vel kjøre en taggekonkurranse nå.
Sant.
Vi gjør sammen med Northug, for de har fått noen av de nye sportsbrillene de inne. Altså, jeg har blitt inspirert til å begynne å løpe og sykle. Det ikke bare korona som har inspirert meg. Det også det å møte disse kule folka som snapper Otto som noe uvær.
Ja.
Og da det bra å ha noen gode briller da. Så vi følger med der for å vinne de brillene. Det ganske mye vi skal gi bort. Så følg oss på @tidenes-pod. Jeg Hans Orino. Og finn oss og søk oss opp og plag oss. Det vel ikke noe mer visvas enn som så. Vi skal få del 2, og her begynner det å bli litt temperatur. Vi skal snakke med Tyler Hamilton. Stage 14 was a transition. Stage 13 was a transition stage, and stage 14 was a tough one.
Which one?
It was the first stage 14. It was the first of 3 days in the Alps. I don't know if you remember the Alp days.
Yeah, more or less, but you got to remind me of the.
Yeah,
the one to Morzine was the day that Pantani attacked.
It was stage to Briançon, 249k.
Yeah,
okay.
the stage 14 was.
Stage 14.
Yeah, and in the stage 14 it was the Kelma guys who was aggressive, but too much didn't go down. Too much didn't go down.
Who won that stage? Botero?
14.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, you remember. You remember. Stage 15. That's from Briançon and went over the Galbier and Col de Madeleine with the hilltop finish at the Courchevel. And this was a climber's dream. This was Pantani's dream. So, and as you said, Pantani attacked early in the final ascent, and only Armstrong could go with him. And then Pantani went again, and Armstrong couldn't follow. And Pantani went up the road, seeking there was a breakaway that went earlier on. And he caught him and soloed him for the victory. And then Pantani made it clear that for him, this win was sort of a revenge against Armstrong.
Yeah.
But again, Armstrong wasn't that far behind, and he actually Pantani basically helped Armstrong to kind of distance himself further from Ulrich and Beloki, who was the real threat in the GC. But the stage I think you were talking about is probably then stage 16. It went from Courchevel to Morzine.
Yeah, that's it.
And Lance said that he expected this day to be a war between Pantani and himself. And on the how do I say this? Sazis with the
Sazi,
yeah. You have the French. You live. How long did you live in France?
Unfortunately, I only lived there for 1 season, 1 year. But I lived most of my career in Girona, Spain. Yeah. But I really enjoyed France. Great people, beautiful country. Yeah,
it's so beautiful. And southern France, down with the
southern France is a bit. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. I miss it.
Yeah. Okay, we're on the Sassis with over 120 kilometers left. Pantani explodes off the front, and he was gone. And you guys you had no choice. You have to just chase and chase and chase.
Yeah.
And eventually Pantani made common cause with Escartine and teammate of Verank's Pascal Herve. If you remember those guys.
Mm-hmm.
The trio, they had the lead when you guys went over to Colombier, but by the time they had finished the descent, you guys had been able to catch them. And it looked like Pantani's second day of trying to punish Armstrong had failed because on the Joplan, Pantani faded and lost contact with Lance and the group.
We didn't catch Pantani to the base of Juplan. That's exactly. So he chased all those big valleys, and it was. He put in just an amazing effort. That's for sure. In a way, he went for it. In a way, we're lucky that he didn't wait to the base of the Juplan and then put it to us. But he kind of burned all his matches before. When you have two riders constantly switching poles, and it's. We had the advantage, I guess. Although he put us to our limit, we had the advantage for sure. So I don't know. Hats off to him, chapeau to him for.
Oh yeah. For trying, for going.
Absolutely.
I love that. And one of my favorite guys in the peloton for the latest years have been Thomas Fouclair, and people are ridiculing me because he's such a emotional character, but because he's just going for it, and most of the times it fails. But by God, how fun it is when he succeeds. But your guys' tempo in chasing Pantani had destroyed the peloton completely, so it was basically down to 4 riders. It was Ulrich, Armstrong, Virank, and Roberto Heras. And Lance had felt so good during the chase that he rolled right through the feed zone and didn't pick up any food.
Yeah, I remember
that one.
I remember it well.
It
was a huge mistake. He had. I remember in that valley before Juplan, we had a big, valley, 25 kilometers maybe, pretty flat, kind of windy, and he was sitting behind Kevin and I and just talking in the radio. He was very confident. Sometimes when you're that confident, you forget to eat, and he forgot to eat. And he, fast forward 5 kilometers up the Juplan, and he was, kicking himself in the butt. He made a big mistake, and he could have easily lost the tour that day, easily. But he, kept it. Yeah, he stayed calm. Yeah. What's that?
Yeah, 10 kilometers from the summit, he completely bunked, and actually it was the second year in a row, wasn't it? Because I think in '99 he also had a stage where he hadn't eaten enough or something.
I don't remember '99. What stage was that?
Stage 15 in '99.
Where'd it go?
It's hard to remember. Okay. Then we have to do the research.
Oh, it's that. Yeah, do the research.
It says from Saint-Gaudin to Pia-Enjali.
Okay.
Yeah.
Stage 15.
Yeah. Right. But seeing the opportunity when Armstrong had made this mistake, Ulrich started to pound up the hill. And didn't this kind of show Armstrong's the winning skull? Like he is he was able to just pick himself together and minimize the loss.
Yeah, and I think he had a few friends out on the peloton that day, outside of the team helping.
Okay.
It's sometimes you catch a rider, or a rider catches you, and they help work with you. I think he had a guy or two that helped him ride, chase. Yeah.
To me, at least, this proves that he was the real deal. Like he had an iron will. He was like able to pull himself together and make sure.
Yeah, and that's hard. He could have easily lost 30 minutes. When you bonk like that, when you go, run out of sugar, it can go sideways quickly. Yeah.
Lance said afterwards, and has been saying afterwards, that those agonizing minutes on the Jouplan were the worst of his cycling career. So,
yeah.
But then, of course, Armstrong was able to kind of make sure that he didn't lose that much, and this was the last mountain stage in the 2000 tour, so it was only the time trial again to do anything, and he was, as you guys knew, you guys were, and then he was probably the best time trialist in the peloton. So going into stage 19, which is the time trial event. Yeah, Jarle?
I would just say that the UCI, they carried out blood tests on that day after the Jouplan stage, including top 9 in the general classification. So that included you, Tyler. The doctors visited cyclists from US Postal, Telecom, Festina, Polti, and Banesto team. All were clean. How come every test you took there came out clean if you were doping all the time, Tyler?
Yeah, good question, Charlie. Following the team doctor's orders, they gave us the cheat sheets. They told us, what to do, when to do it, how to do it. They told us, before the Tour de France started, this is what we're doing. This is our plan, blood transfusion. And that's what we did,
And after a stage like this, when Lance is in control, in the GC, do you get off the EPO now? Because
I don't think we took any EPO in the 2000 tour. Yeah, in the 99 tour, we took a few shots of EPO during the tour, but in the year 2000, we didn't take one, or I certainly didn't take one shot of EPO during the tour. Yeah.
It's more in the preparations and training.
More as a preparation, like No, because we were very worried about the EPO test,
Yeah.
And I think I don't think we were the only ones worried about the EPO test.
No, most likely not.
Yeah. So
how long does the effects of EPO stick with you? Like, is it like months, or is it years, or is it days?
The way I see it, like the minute I started doping with EPO, with this, even with a little red testosterone pill, is you bump yourself up a little level, and you can't, and that you're able to ride harder, train harder, and it's all effective. So it's compounding. You know what I mean? So even if you haven't doped for 2 months, it's like, hey, you've gotten all the way up to that level. With assistance. So, I don't really look at any of my results since that first time I doped in the spring of '97. Not really. I don't know. They all have an asterisk, But let's say the question was about EPO. If you were to take it one day, you're not going to feel it the next day. But you might feel it a week later, a week later or something. You'd feel it, and maybe feel it for a couple. If you just took one or two, if you took maybe 2 or 3 days in a row or something, you might feel it for, a week later. You might feel it for 10 days, 2 weeks or something. Yeah.
When you decided to write a book, Tyler, an honest book with all the details, some of it sound pretty exciting and, rock and roll, American dream life or something like that. Did you worry about this when you wrote the book, that maybe younger generations would think this was, it's exciting, and I guess you try to scare them off, but did you think about that it's like, a spy novel, reading about the things you did, and that some might be interested in trying it as well?
I mean, my whole reason to write that book was just to tell the whole truth and show people, especially the younger generations, like, watch out, take a couple steps back before you make a big decision, like myself and some of my teammates did. Absolutely. So yeah, if it comes across as rock and roll and like, hey, you should do this too, that wasn't meant to come off like that. Here I am 20 years later, still talking about this. Shit. So like, kids, if you're listening, like, don't do it. There's a lot, Yeah. By no means did I mean it to look cool, but I did try to give an accurate portrayal of what did happen and how it happened.
But you also had a choice. You can go undercover almost, or you can talk about this. Why did you decide to be as open and talk so much about this as you've done, for the last 20 years? Or
do you think I should? What do you think I should do? Go be omerta and just say the very minimum and don't talk about it? Like, what do you think, Charlie?
I think it's a good thing that somebody opens up, because if you haven't done this, what would we know about the things that happen inside the U.S. Postal team? Yeah,
maybe it's still all a secret. Yeah, it's been hard. Yeah, it's my life's changed forever. I've been totally honest, and it's I paid the price for it big time. It's like I'm far removed really from the inner sport of cycling. And, that's how it's, do I miss it? Here, little bits and pieces here and there for sure. It's but I love it. There was a period of time where I freaking hated it. I wanted nothing to do with it. But then, I enjoy it now. I think it's such a beautiful sport. I love it. I just needed to step away from it for a little while, But yeah, I mean, I told the honest truth that everything, and it had an effect on the sport. And I'm sorry for the people that I hurt, or if I hurt the sport. But I felt like it was time. It was time to tell the whole truth. And Lance Armstrong didn't start doping. He was the one that started it. I didn't start doping. George Hincapie didn't start all this. Like, it's been happening for a long, long time. And no one said anything, not the governing body of the sport, not the sponsors. And so eventually, to me, it was like, this story is way too big for it not to come out. Like, it needs to come out. And, I kept my mouth shut for a long time. I thought I was doing it for all the right reasons. But then it was like, there was a federal investigation, and it forced me to take a couple steps back and look at the whole big picture. And really, like, why was I holding in this big secret, And I was doing it for all the wrong reasons. And then I just thought, okay, here I am. I unbuttoned my shirt, and I told the whole truth. And not the easiest thing in the world to do. I'm not very proud of, what happened, but I am proud of telling the truth. Hopefully people can learn from it. If you make a big decision like that, you can't go back.
No. But do you feel now that my impression is that you are maybe are able to get invited back, because I don't think, at least in my view, nobody should get a lifetime sentence for screwing up when they were young. That's not especially not the Norwegian model. We basically don't. If people even kill someone else, we believe that people should have a second chance and get back to society, and it's a value that we hold high. But my impression is that now, because of your honesty, that you are maybe able to get welcome back to the Tour de France. And would you go back if you would you? Let's say
I'd love
we
to go back.
invited you.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Yeah, you would.
Yeah.
So, because of course somebody would probably be like, "Oh, what is Tyler doing down here?"
Oh, I get it. I go to bike races every once in a while. I do some work for a financial advisory group in Denver. So, down in the Front Range of Colorado, there are a lot of bike races. So I go to a bike race every once in a while and watch. And there's some people are very friendly, other people not so much, and I understand it. Some people have forgiven me, other people not so much, and that's totally understandable. I made my bed. I made a lot of big mistakes, and some people aren't that happy to see me. So yeah, I think I'll probably have that for the rest of my life. But so be it. They deserve to be pissed off.
But I guess that one of the mistakes you did, I don't know what happened there, but you got caught for a second doping offense while riding for rock racing, I think.
Oh yeah.
Didn't that just make your credibility so much lower when you got another doping offense, and I think you got 8-year suspension?
Yeah, for sure. This was for something. I was taking a homeopathic antidepressant that I thought, at the time I was pretty miserable in my life, and I should have backed away from cycling. I should have never come back. That's for sure. Yeah. After my suspension, I should have, been open and honest and just told my story about, taking EPO and testosterone and blood doping. Oops, sorry. But yeah, I didn't. Are you guys still there?
We're still here. Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, I didn't. And, I was a mess. And,
But do you think you would have told your story if you didn't get that subpoena and you knew about
Yeah. That's a great question. Yeah, I don't know. At that time, I wasn't prepared to tell the truth. I was still like, this is the right thing to do. And, I wasn't excited about getting subpoenaed and being forced to come in and tell the truth or tell a story. But once I got in there, it was like, all right, here we go. And I was maybe a little bit nervous for the first 10 or 15 minutes. And then it just, maybe it was kind of leaking out of me slowly. And I was being very careful with all my words. And then after about 15 minutes, it was just like I relaxed. I just let it flow. And I spoke for 7 hours.
Oh.
Yeah.
About everything. You just nothing. You protected nobody?
I don't know. No. Any question they asked, I answered as best I could. Yeah.
We're just jumping way out. We've done that from.
No, it's all good.
But
all good.
It's so interesting.
Are we? Let's stay. You can talk about anything. It's all good. We don't even have to finish the 2000 tour.
No, we're soon. We will. Don't worry.
Okay.
But I just I got a question now. It was like your family and your you had a wife during this
yes.
period of time. Did she?
Which period during the 2000 tour?
Yeah, or especially when you got caught. Now we were in 2011. Was that 2008, 9?
Yeah, no, I wasn't married. I wasn't married.
No,
I wasn't married.
No. But you were.
Yeah, it was kind of messy. I went through kind of a tough divorce, and just when things went bad, and it was. I struggled for a long time. I had suicidal thoughts. It was ugly, and I should never have come. I can't support. Unhealthy, certainly mentally, absolutely. I was caught up. I was caught up in a lot of. I didn't know what to do really.
No. Did some of the guys like Johan or Lance kind of contact you, and were you in contact with them before you went public? Did they try to kind of keep this down, like respect Omerta? Don't.
I was contacted by. Some of Lance's lawyers. Yeah.
They threatened you?
They said they'd help represent me,
Okay. And he would pay the bills?
I don't know. Yeah, I think it was pro bono for free. I think so.
You said thank you, but no thank you.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, let's just finish the tour so we can talk. We can move on a bit from the 2000 tour. Du Sunniva, hva det kjekkeste, hva det beste en mann kan ha på seg for å være på sitt kjekkeste?
På sitt aller kjekkeste? Det må jo være... Oi, Godt spørsmål.
Klokke fra Psycho, selvfølgelig! Det er jo åpenbart!
Selvfølgelig.
Ja, men man er stilig, du merker det. Jeg er ikke halvgjern igjen.
Det ser ganske bra ut.
Ja, den er ganske rå, altså. Og vi har jo den konkurransen gående, Psycho-alpinist, altså den nye Psycho-Prospex-alpinisten som har kommet. Den deler vi ut til en heldig vinner, og nå nærmer det seg jo slutten. For den skal jo deles ut etter at podcast-serien vår har gått sin gang, gått sin seiersgang, forhåpentligvis. Vi skal snuble bra nå, hvis ikke blir en seiersgang. Men folk har lyst til å vinne den, og hva må man gjøre for å vinne? Jo, du må gå inn og rate podcasten et eller annet sted, aller helst på Apple Podcast, fordi der er det veldig sånn godt ratingsystem. Og grunnen til at vi ønsker det er jo det er jo fordi at vi ønsker å komme høyt opp på disse listene, og da har vi vært heldige å få gjøre gjennom sommeren, stort sett. Men hvis de av dere som ikke har gjort det ennå, så håper jeg at dere hadde giddet det da. Gå inn der, og etter at dere har gjort det, så kan dere sende oss en melding på Instagram, følge oss og sånn der, og så si at vi har ratet podcasten. Og dersom man ikke bruker Apple Podcast eller sånn, så rate oss på Facebook, eller bare skriv en hyggelig melding til oss. Det synes vi er gøy, hvis det bare er moro at folk hører på, og absolutt alle som hører på, og som støtter oss og er med, skal selvfølgelig få være med i trekningen. Og de klokkene, de er rå, altså. De er rå. Jeg merker det har blitt litt mer pågang fra folk etter at jeg gikk med klokka.
Det er nok folk, du som gjorde det.
Det er klokka som gjør det. Jeg tror det. Ellers er det bare jeg som er blitt utrolig arrogant og selvbevisst. Jeg vet ikke. Jeg tar forbehold. Ok, så gi oss en rating. Send oss melding på Instagram eller Facebook. Så tilbake til Tyler Hamilton del 2. Stage 19 was the time trial, individual time trial, and Lance he hadn't won any stage that year, so I guess he was pretty eager to win a stage. And you also you were a really good time trialist yourself. Did you were you able to just go for your own chances? I would guess so.
I remember that day. A lot of times they'd have me. I was always starting before Lance, so they'd have me ride really hard for at least half of the race of the time trial, as hard as I could to see, so I could give him good split times.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that day, that's what I did. I rode the first half as hard as I could, and then, but then I just kept going because it was the end of the race. They said I could, give it a go. Really, they said if you have strength after the halfway point, just keep going. And I know in the race radio that I was doing pretty well, so I kept going. I think I was maybe
you were
fourth,
yeah.
Cool.
That's impressive. So Armstrong won, and he won Ulrich second place. But this meant that Lance had won his second tour in a row, and as kind of you guys had shown that it wasn't a fluke in '99. You guys were you meant it. Climbers competition, Botero won that one, and Erik Sabel. We haven't talked about the points competition because it wasn't that interesting, but Erik Sabel, he usually won the points competition during that period of time, didn't he?
He did, yeah. It seemed like every year he was winning.
Yeah. And then after the 2000, do you remember what happened after that? You, as we have discussed earlier, you stayed on with the Postal through 2001, and then you left to captain your own team. You went to Team CSE with Bjarne Riis, our fellow Nordic friend. How did Lance take that when you left and wanted to go for your own chances?
Let's see. Yeah, I think it was time. I think our kind of relationship, personal relationship, and our, relationship within the team had kind of come to an end. Yeah, the 2001 season. I remember it just being a little bit different. And it was the first year that I was like, if I don't change teams soon, I think I'm going to retire from the sport.
Oh,
I was ready for a change, and
Yeah, but you believe in yourself. You have seen that you were able to make some great results. If people, and I guess at least if I were you, I would be like, if people rode for me, then I can win the tour.
Yeah, I had a lot of people telling me that if I went to another team, I could be a team leader, maybe contend. So,
did Bjarne contact you?
See, let's see. Bjarne contacted me, or I guess my agent. during let's see, I think it was like June of 2001, I think.
Yeah.
So and then I think I signed a contract during the tour in 2001, and we made the announcement, I think, with a day or two to go in the tour that year that I was leaving. So, and it was like they made a nice little press statement, but
But you chose to ride the Giro d'Italia in 2002, not the tour. Why was that?
We had Laurent Jalabert on the team, who's going to really focus on the tour that year, and they gave me an opportunity to be the team leader for the Grand Tour, which was awesome.
And
the Giro. The Giro.
The Giro, we first saw something that became somewhat of a staple for you. You crashed and severely hurt your shoulder, I think, in the Giro.
Yeah.
But you just gritted on. You just it's just a shoulder, and you just
I think I got an X-ray after the race was done. 3 weeks later, that's fractured the top of my shoulder. So. Yeah, I don't know. I had some
huge threshold for pain.
I was talking to somebody yesterday, and they were asking me about that. I think that was my biggest, asset was high pain threshold, I guess. I think there were a lot of riders who were maybe more talented than me, but maybe, gave up when it got really hard. I don't know. I just kept pushing.
You still have that with you? You're still, if people are going on a gravel run with you, you're just...
Now I'm pretty relaxed. I'm just a recreational bike rider with paired legs.
Yeah. And then, of course, there was a tour in the 2003.
Sorry. Hold on. Time out.
I was just talking about the tour where you broke your collarbone. And...
Oh yeah,
and
the tour, the Giro. We were talking about the Giro. Yeah.
First the Giro in 2002, and then the tour in 2003 where you broke your collarbone. And we discussed the Tour de France in 2003 tour earlier in this series. So
you did good.
That. Yeah, and
that was a crazy tour.
It was a really good tour. It was the best tour. It's my favorite tour ever.
I mean, so many things happened, right? The Baloki crash, the feedback with Lance and Mayo, all this stuff.
Yeah, and it has so many great personalities, and you being one of them. It was kind of, and to me, I was a young kid then, and the American stars, and you had Ulrich with this strange Team Bianchi team. Remember that?
Oh yeah,
Still, you had the Telecom team was still there, and it was a good tour. And you arriving the tour with a broken fucking collarbone, and then winning a stage. You were cycling all by yourself from the beginning of the stage to the end, almost winning, and nobody could. The peloton was chasing, but they couldn't. You were just riding.
I was lucky that day. I actually got at the beginning of the race. What happened?
You got
it started really fast. I didn't get dropped. I mean, there was a split.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, Charlie. I think this guy, I can't even see Charlie. Hans, I can see you, but there's some guy in the background named Charlie. He's just chipping away. I didn't get dropped, but there was a split in the peloton, and I was in the second split.
So you needed help to get back up.
Yeah, I had like two teammates drop back, and they pulled me back up, and then at that same time, I had a guy go away in the breakaway, Nicky Sorensen. They got a couple-minute gap, maybe a group of like 6 or 7 riders. And then when we hit the first climb of the day, I can't remember the name of it, but the plan was for me to attack. And I did, and luckily I had a teammate up the road, and Nicky Sorensen, and he dropped back from the breakaway, helped pull me up to the breakaway. And as soon as I got up there, then he just drove the breakaway as hard as he could. It was nice.
It was a good stage.
Good guy, Nicky Sorensen. He also helped me win Liège-Bastogne-Liège. So.
Yeah, you won that also. 2003 was
due to Nicky, and good team.
Yeah, talk like, and I'm sorry, we always go back to the doping and stuff.
It's all right.
But of course, that's you're so open, you're so honest, so that's why it's interesting to talk to you about it. But how was that when you joined Bjarne and Team CC? You had come from this team. Was it the same there, or was it? Did Bjarne know?
Yeah, it sounded like he was well versed in it, in doping, and knew what he was talking about. Yeah, I started blood doping again. My second time ever blood doping was on CSD.
Yeah, but was that something you had to fix yourself, or was it should you discuss this with Bjarne?
He kind of put me in touch with a doctor who'd be kind of like my doping doctor. He introduced me to this guy, Fuentes. Have you heard of him?
Yeah, Fuentes.
Okay, yeah.
Operation Puerto, of course.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
So
I think that was the rest of the team. How was that during 2003 and the years you were in CNC?
It was 2 great years. 2 great years. I didn't want to leave the team after that. I had a really good relationship with Bjorn Rees, and the hardest part about the 03 tour for me was knowing that I was probably leaving the team.
Why?
It was,
Why'd you have
to I was hoping to get a contract, and they were waiting on other sponsors coming in. It was like, wait.
Yeah.
And then Bonac came in with a really good offer and with an opportunity to be like a sole team leader. On CSC, it was like I was a co-leader with like Carlos Sastre, who's won the tour a few years later.
Yeah.
So
Ivan Basso was probably on the team.
he came, I think, the year after I left.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you remember Kurt? Was Kurt when?
No,
Kurt?
he came a year after with Basso.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then of course it was the biggest moment of your career, but also where the drama really began, the Olympics, when you won the individual time trial in Athens. How was that? How when you won it and you were there in the American colors and with the gold medal? I guess that was maybe the biggest.
It was like a great experience, but in the back of my mind, it didn't feel like it was supposed to feel really. I've been dreaming about winning a gold medal since like 1980. So I watched the Olympics, the Lake Placid Olympics, the Winter Olympics in 1980. I watched for 3 weeks on television, and then I told myself like I don't know what sport it's going to be in, but I want to win a gold medal. And it didn't feel the same. It didn't feel the same.
Yeah.
And then I don't know. Yeah. And then years later, when I gave it back, I gave the gold medal back. It felt like the right thing to do, and it felt I kind of like freed myself of that like burden in a way. Yeah.
In your book, Tyler, The Secret Race from 2012, I think, you write about it's before this, the time trial on Mont Ventoux in 2004.
Oh, yeah.
Both you and Iban Mayo kicked Armstrong's ass and also beat the best time set by Jonathan Wouters some years earlier. And after that, Lance was pissed off. Could you tell us what happened there?
This was... it was a time trial in the Dauphiné. Yeah, straight up that climb. Yeah, had a good ride, and I heard this later from another source from one of his teammates that he finished the stage and found out that he that I beat him, and he promptly made a call to the UCI telling them to get me. So
he could do that? Hey, watch this guy, he's too good.
I think that's so, Charlie. I guess so.
Wow.
Yeah.
But did you because that's of course we've all watched the latest documentary from ESPN, and you're also you're making a cameo there, and you're talking about the same thing, that Armstrong, he kind of had UCI in his pocket. He was too big of a star. He was cycling, so they couldn't afford him getting caught because it would ruin everything. But was it that? Did he pay them, or was it like he just knew his power Was it said kind of explicitly, or was it just him knowing that he had the position he had?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the inside of that.
Like, what do you think? Do you think that the Verbrugge, that he knew 100% sure that Lance was doping, but he kept it hidden?
I mean, I would find it hard to believe that he didn't know anything. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, like, and this is, we talked about Omerta, and for the people listening, it's kind of this code in the peloton that you don't speak. Everybody knows that there's doping, but nobody speaks, and then they can't get us, right? What do you think about today? This, I know that you have been saying that you're not a part of the peloton and a part of the cycling environment anymore. But
yeah.
What do you think? Is
I think
Omerta still going strong, or is it?
Oh, they're still in Omerta for sure. Within the old guard, so to speak. For sure.
But Lance, now, to me at least, and I know me and Jarle, as you probably have heard, we have a different opinion. I honestly feel that Lance and George and the guys, that they kind of, it seems to me that he's regretting the things that he have done and the things that he has said to a lot of people, except Floyd Landis. And it seems authentic to me, but that might be the genius of Lance Armstrong, that he's really good at coming across authentic. What do you think?
I think he's probably changed a lot. I think his feet are kind of back on the ground again. And I think he's kind of been just humbled a little bit. It's been a hard few years for him. Absolutely. And I think he regrets some of his actions. I don't know if he regrets everything, certainly, but he's certainly a changed man. I think he's probably a better person today than he was, back in those days. So I don't know. I don't really talk to him anymore, but yeah, I don't have any ill will towards him, and I used to.
But your relationship is dead. Is not. How does he? Because it seemed to me that he really hates Floyd Landis, but it doesn't seem like he hates you.
I don't know.
Understand.
I don't know what he thinks of me, but
no, you don't care either. Who cares?
It's all good. It's all good.
But you had an encounter with him in Aspen one time. I think it was after you did the 60 Minutes interview.
I did. Yeah.
How was that?
It was interesting. Yeah.
Was this before he had been stripped of his titles?
I think so. Yeah.
So he still was trying. He was trying to protect the 7 titles.
What did he say back then, Tyler? Did he say that it was going to ruin your life or stuff like that, or?
Yeah, Charlie. You know, right? Yeah, he wasn't that excited that I was, telling the truth and being honest. And he said, "Yeah, it's going to make my life kind of a living hell, both in and outside the courtroom." So, yeah. I don't know. I'm kind of, I'm beyond that. Yeah, you can read about it in the book or wherever in some blog. But yeah, those days are behind us. Onward and upward. I think he probably regrets that. It wasn't the nicest thing in the world to do. But he was, he was fighting really hard to not have the truth come out, and it was the truth was massive.
Yeah.
And,
do you consider him the winner of the 7 Tour de France and the World Championships in 1993? And because to me, he has a point when he was talking about in the end of the documentary. He's a bitter guy, and he's saying that how come Ivan Basso is a hero in Italy, and how come Eddie Merckx has also been, like, there's so many guys like Richard Virenque. Why is he a hero in France? And why are they only putting this on? And Jan Ulrich and Lance, and of course Lance was bigger than them all. So, and he was lying harder than them all, and he was being an asshole. At least my impression is he was being a bigger asshole. And of course that the bigger you are, the harder you fall. But to me, at least, I think that everybody deserves a second chance. Even Lance. and why and the stuff that, and you said it yourself, you were so low, like you had I just read it, you had some alcohol problem, and you said you had suicidal thoughts. Nobody should feel like that way for fucking up, like when you're 26, 27 years old. Like everybody fucks up when they're 26, 27. That's kind of it's how it is to be 26, in my impression. So in my view, but that's my stance, and people are. I guess you and Jan, of course, will keep this conversation going.
I don't really have an answer for you. Yeah, they haven't awarded the victory to somebody else. So, right, it's just blank right now. So I don't know. But
Bjarne Riis, he has his victory from '96.
Yeah, it was.
I think he had to return his jersey.
Did he?
I think so. They wanted it back to the ASO headquarters.
But didn't he get like several jerseys? You get a jersey for every stage. They can't go into his wardrobe and be like, we gave you 102 jerseys. Where are the 102nd? No.
But who are they going to get? Yeah, I don't know. It was an ugly time. It was it didn't just start and finish with Lance Armstrong. It was happening before, and
Is it happening
doping has been ingrained in cycling for a long time. Way back when it was different products, but it's such a hard sport. It's by far the hardest sport in the world, hands down.
Is it happening today, though?
They catch people once in a while, so you can't say it's not happening. But I think it's a lot cleaner. Absolutely. Their riders are they're training a lot smarter now. Back in my days, like it felt like a lot of riders didn't train that smart. But yeah, everybody's trained really smart now. And I don't know. I hope it's as clean as we all think. And it's I do feel for the cyclists. They have so much pressure on them, and it's not an easy world to be in.
One of our biggest heroes is Thor Hushovd, as you probably know, and I have this in the 2000 Olympics. He got 7th place,
nice.
And I think in the time trial. Yeah, it's nice. It's nice, but look who is on top of him on the list. It's Ekimov, Ulrich, Armstrong, Olano, Jalabert. Don't you think that Hushovd actually won gold that year?
He won gold. God. I hear what you're saying.
Everybody who finished on top of it,
I don't know.
Before him.
Yeah, you could say that. Yeah, you could say that maybe. Yeah. But it's you can't go back now. It's too complicated. It's hard to say. Like who knows? On all these different races, like who knows who was the true winner? It's hard to say these days. But because but it came at a shitty time. I don't know. I would never want any cyclist to go through the years that I went through, to have that kind of pressure put on them. It was rampant back then. Doping was rampant, and it was at least for me, it was what I was expected to do.
Think about the people that were clean. That's kind of the looking back. Like for example, we have Mats Kaggestad, an amazing athlete, Norwegian athlete. He barely got to be pro because he.
So do you blame that? Do you blame that on an individual? Or do you blame that on the governing body of the sport for letting it get so out of control? Who do you blame that on? Kind of blame it on everybody, I guess. But it's hard to point the finger at. Was it just me? Like, I'm not just a bad person and I made, huge mistakes? No, or you can say that if you want, but, the whole system was rotten. And they had let it get to that point, and eventually it got to its breaking point. And maybe I was part of the breaking point, but somebody had to do it. And I'll take responsibility for it. You can chastise me and whatever, but it was a shit system.
But
I think you have a problem if it's true that they knew that Lance Armstrong was cheating and they didn't want to bring him down when he's the biggest star, and also let him do what he did against Filippo Simeone, Christophe Bassons, and also other persons who try to speak out like you have done lately. Tyler. Some people try to speak up against Lance, and they were just, they quit cycling or, were not welcome in the peloton. So, and also I feel that's why you need to convict Lance Armstrong. And if you read the conviction, he's got several breaks of the anti-doping rules. It's just not one thing he did. He was the biggest star, and he had a lot of influence, and he used that in a very bad way. That's why I think it's justifiable that he got the biggest penalty.
Yeah, I understand that, and I respect that. Yeah, it's sad. It was sad some of the things that happened, some of the events that happened, and I do feel like Lance has realized that and is apologetic. About some of those events.
Just now, when you see the clips of Filippo Simeoni, what do you think about that now? When he gets
when I see I can having a hard time hearing you. When I see the clips of Filippo Simeoni, it makes me really sad. Makes me sad, and no one really stood up for him. It wasn't just Lance chastising him. There were a lot of people behind the scenes chastising him. Yeah. And kind of the peloton let that happen without really sticking up. People were scared of the big boss, and no one stood up for this small guy. And it's a sad story. But I'm glad to hear that. I guess they've made their amends, and that's nice to hear. You guys got to speak loud. Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you for finding a MacGyver method of continuing on. I think we're almost there. Jarle, do you have any more questions for Tyler? And again, thank you, Tyler, for setting off so much time for us and for finding this MacGyver method in the end there to stay.
Oh yeah. Hey, nice talking to you guys. Feel free to ask any other questions if you have them, but good luck with your podcast. It sounds like it's going really well, and keep up the good work. Of course,
you've heard about it in Montana, I guess. Are people talking about Tidenes Tour de France in Montana?
About the Tour de France in Montana?
About our podcast? No, they're not. No.
Oh yeah, yeah. Cycling here in Montana is pretty small, but it's it's a beautiful state, lots of nature, and I'm enjoying it here.
Yeah.
I have to ask you one thing, Tyler. I'm a fly fisherman. Have you tried fly fishing in Montana? It's like the fly fishing capital of the world.
It is. I don't fish. I don't fly fish, but I do get on the rivers a lot on a paddleboard. Yeah, paddleboarding. So I do.
But you should bring a fly rod. That's a new career for you right there. It's a new.
Yeah, I'm vegan now. Don't eat meat. No meat. I love animals too much. Yeah. So I think I've been vegan for almost 5 years. So I don't like to hurt animals anymore. Yeah.
No, but you can catch and release.
It's beautiful. People enjoy it here in Montana, and
it's good for you, Tyler. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time. You're a champ, and as if it's not clear, we admire how you've been honest and open, and you to me at least, you were the guy who started the cleansing of the modern cycling sport, and that chapeau to you for that. And again, thank you so much for finding time in your busy schedule to be part of our Norwegian podcast. That's I know the Norwegian audience, they will really appreciate it.
Awesome. Hey, well, Hans and Charlie, thanks. Great questions. I appreciate you having me on your podcast, and good luck with the rest of your shows, and keep up the good work.
Det var episoden vår da, Jarle.
Kan vi snakke norsk igjen nå?
Nå det tid. Jeg synes vi klarte oss greit på engelsk. Fikk du brukt det?
Testosterone.
Ja.
Nei, men nå kan jeg det da.
Hva synes du det gikk? Jeg merker at vi kjeita vel. Vi snakket jo ikke mye om Tour de France 2000. Jeg merker at hverken du eller jeg synes det var spesielt interessant. Og han visste jo ikke hva vi skulle snakke om.
Var ikke dette en Tyler Hamilton spesial?
Ja, det ble egentlig en Tyler Hamilton spesial.
Det ble litt fristende når vi først hadde han på long distance.
Og du kjørte han hardt, altså. Du skulle være snill med, og det digga jeg. Jeg digga det. Der var du tøff. Du sto i det, du.
Jo, takk.
Ja, du
Det
satt
er
meg
jeg
på
som
plass.
skal være journalisten av oss da.
Det er du som er journalisten av oss.
Men altså, jeg kunne kjørt han enda hardere, føler jeg selv. Men
jeg synes det var tøft.
man skal jo også ha litt igjen for det han faktisk har gjort. Da. At han faktisk har åpnet kjeften sin og ikke tar med seg hemmeligheten i grava, som en del andre ser ut til å velge å gjøre.
Ja, jeg er helt enig. Jeg er jo mer liberal enn deg på at det har vi jo fått etablert før. Men jeg synes jo at det står kjemperespekt av det. Stille opp på vår lille norske podcast, liksom. Og stå standrett for Jarles fluestang. Det synes jeg var tøft. Da. Og jeg synes han er jo trent, merker du. Trent og god svar. Jeg stutret jo veldig når vi skulle snakke om det Tour de France 2000. Jeg ville bare snakke om doping og lance og moro. Men det var greit. Jeg tror folk
det
synes
som
gøy.
er vanskelig er når du mister et ord, og så skal du få det i farta, skal det passe inn i, der er vi mye bedre på norsk.
Jeg tror vi er mer elegante på norsk. Men jeg håper at
humor også er vanskelig. Du prøvde det et par ganger. Han bare what was that, guys? What was that?
Skjønte null av det. Null timing I den grad jeg har det på norsk. Så jeg I hvert fall ikke.
Når du begynte med støttehjula til Pantania, sånn, det er vanskelig å
Støttehjulsvitser bedre på norsk. Det helt riktig. Jeg burde jeg sleit. Jeg tror jeg fant ordet. Jeg husker training wheels. Samme av det. Dette var det var moro at jeg hadde med han. Jeg håper episoden blir bra. Det gjør jeg bare.
Og nå drar vi på Aku og farger byen blå.
Vi gjør det, feirer litt. Ok, ha det bra, folkens.
Hasta luego.